Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to our English News Edition, coming to you from Canal, Algérie. To the headlines. The Council of Ministers, chaired by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, decides to postpone the discussion on the finance bill and listens to presentations related to several sectors. The Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman presents today at the National People's Assembly the government's policy statement, an assessment of his cabinet's actions and achievements in all sectors during a year. The 21st edition of the International Tourism and Travel Fair in Algiers comes to a close. This fair that aims to promote Algeria as a tourist destination via several channels. Good evening, those were today's headlines. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chaired on Sunday a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to the sectors of finance, justice, higher education, agriculture, transport and public works. Manal Ammari.
Presenting the meeting's agenda, the President of the Republic gave the floor to the Prime Minister to showcase the government's activity in the past 2 weeks. Then he gave the following orders and guidelines. Concerning the 2023 finance bill, postponing the discussion of the draft finance law and its programming in a special ministerial council next week. Concerning the suppression of violations of legislation and regulation related to exchange and the movement of capital to and from abroad, reviewing the text of the draft law according to the following guidelines. The necessity of preserving the people's money and protecting it from all forms of corruption. The President stressed that compromising the national economy is not a misdemeanor, but a crime that is not tolerated, and that violating the exchange laws and the movement of capital is also a crime that harms the interest of the country and requires the imposition of severe penalties. As for the higher education and scientific research sector, the President commended Algeria's efforts to promote higher education and training in the field of science and technology and called for raising the orientation percentage towards specializations in the field of science, math, and technology, with the need of reforming the system of higher education and scientific research profoundly and the digitization of their services. Giving great importance to higher education by creating effective training mechanisms and adopting the preparatory year system prior to specialization, with a view to raising the level of scientific quality of graduating students. Concerning agriculture, allowing the import of agricultural equipment of all kinds as well as spare parts for individuals and companies alike, as well as the import of agricultural tractors that are under 5 years old, until reaching a balance between the national production and import of tractors. The necessity of moving agriculture from a social nature into a scientific one, with a modern view which includes the training of human resources, in addition to other measures that are in the offing to promote this vital sector. Regarding the transport sector, the modernization of the port management system across the entire coast, with the aim of expanding the capacity for various types of ships. President Tebboune tasked the government to look as soon as possible for effective mechanisms to create a port authority, for which a governor is responsible for determining responsibilities for better management and better services. Developing a special system of social protection for fishing professionals, including the creation of their own spaces in ports and their sponsorship in the form of cooperatives. Regarding public works, irrigation and base facilities, preliminary approval of the water extraction project to provide the inhabitants of the province of Bashar, Al-Qanatsa and Al-Abadla with drinking water, starting from Bni Wanif, provided that the physical and chemical technical study is expanded before the start of the works. And as for general guidelines, the President of the Republic gave instructions to rationalize rationing in all fields, taking into account economic transformations and dealing with them with pure economic logic, to give greater impetus to the dynamics of progress in the fields of services and investments, to change the laws that hinder the economic pace of the country. At the end of the meeting, the Council of Ministers approved the appointments and the terminations of duties in senior state positions.
The Prime Minister, Ayman bin Abdurrahman, is to present today at the National People's Assembly the broad lines of the government's policy, an assessment of the Cabinet's main achievements and actions in all sectors in a year. Rania Al-Bahri tells us more.
The Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman will review the achievements of different sectors within the framework of reforms initiated by the President of the Republic. The government's action report concerning the period from September 2021 to August 2022. The cabinet outline includes 5 chapters. Concerning the consolidation of the rule of law and renovation of governance, the completion of the process of institutional building has resulted in the establishment of control institutions and advisory bodies. A case in point, the Constitutional Court, the high authority for transparency, prevention and fight against corruption, and the National Observatory of Civil Society Justice strengthen its independence and modernize public administration. This document also highlights the achievements of the IMP, which is working to meet all the conditions of the development of the national defense system, such as securing borders and preserving territorial integrity by consolidating the surveillance and protection systems deployed throughout the land borders, maritime and air spaces of sovereignty. The Algerian diplomacy is experiencing a new dynamic centered on the defense of the nation's interests, the contribution to regional security and stability, the strengthening of ties within Africa and the Arab world, the reinforcement of peace in the world, but also the redeployment of economic diplomacy. The government's general policy also refers to the resumption of economic activity, particularly after the decline recorded due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and highlights the effectiveness of the measures taken for this purpose, such as the strengthening of strategic sectors, the enhancement of national production, the strengthening of economy knowledge, and the speed up of digital transition. The document contains also the main measures taken to upgrade the health, national education, and higher education sectors, to improve the living environment of the citizen, and to consolidate social policy. The consolidation of the purchasing power of the citizen, the improvement of the care of vulnerable social segments, the consolidation of the social security and retirement systems, the review of teachers' salaries as well as medical and paramedical personnel, in employment benefits, and improving access to decent housing are among the main achievements. The promotion of physical and sporting activities is highlighted in this document, which mentioned as well as Algeria's harvest in the 19th edition of the Mediterranean Games hosted by Oran.
Ahead of the Arab Summit to be held in Algiers on the 1st and 2nd of the upcoming November, positive reactions continue to flock from all around the Arab world, displaying high expectations. Let's have a listen to these moving statements.
Our message to the leaders of Arab states is to continue uniting their ranks. To do so, it is necessary to fill in the gaps in unifying the positions and avoiding whatever separates us by focusing on what unites us. The Arab people in general need to support their leaders and work together towards the same objective, namely laying the foundation for a joint Arab action. The organization of the Arab Summit in Algeria holds a special place in the hearts of many people. We will be in symbiosis with the Arab nations' aspirations. I believe that Algeria is dear to the Palestinians since it supported their struggle from the start. Many Algerians said that their independence is incomplete unless Palestine snatches theirs, and that the Algerian revolution will continue until Palestine's liberation. The noble stance taken by the leaders of the Algerian revolution is still adopted by Algerian people. We want the organization of a consensual Palestinian National Council that will unite all Palestinian factions. The Arab Summit will grant Palestine and the Palestinian cause an important position.
Algeria presented its sincere condolences and expressed its deep compassion to Indonesia following a stampede that occurred Saturday at the end of a football match, in which caused several deaths and injuries. Algeria also expressed in the statement issued by the Foreign Affairs Ministry its full solidarity with Indonesia during this painful trial. The Tourism Minister Yassine Hamadi supervised on Sunday the closing ceremony of the 21st International Tourism and Travel Fair, an edition that witnessed the participation of more than 340 exhibitors with a view to boosting this vital sector. Details with Anya Al-Bahri.
The International Tourism and Travel Fair edition witnessed partnership deals between local and foreign participants. This opportunity is an advantage to establish partnership relations with national and foreign tourism operators. We were able to sign several agreements with several national and foreign agencies. More than 100 Tunisian professionals participated in this exhibition with Algerian travel agencies, and there were important agreements. As part of the strategy of boosting the activity of startups, the Ministry of Culture adopted during this exhibition the promotion of Algerian heritage and culture through these institutions that use the latest technologies to promote legacy and tourism in our country. The Ministry of Culture invited us to participate in this exhibition to provide our service and to display the cultural patrimony. Our role is to introduce heritage and raise awareness for its sustainable use and preservation. The edition also witnessed the conclusion of a partnership and cooperation agreement between the Algerian National Office for Tourism and a number of participating countries. Today we signed two agreements, the first with the National Office for Tourism and Travels, and the second with the French operator to organize charter flights from France to Algerian Sahara. Indeed, a tribute is to be paid to those who contributed to the service of local tourism, in particular desert tourism, which attracts tourists from inside and outside the country.
Tourism and travel. It is now possible to buy your plane tickets online thanks to the phone application introduced by the national airlines company Algérie, which decreased, by the way, the prices of flight tickets. Details in this story taken up by Najah Tayyar.
From wherever you are, now you can buy your ticket online with your Interbank's card or CIV card or a Dahabiya card by using the Air Algérie Airlines phone app or by checking the website of the airlines company. All you have to do is access the app, choose your destination, and finally print your ticket easily to fly to your chosen destination. For the first time, the plane tickets are to be purchased online with no need for papers. We are receiving the clients and guiding them to use the phone app or the website of the company. The customers using the Air Algérie phone app told us about their successful experience in terms of purchase and payment, as well as the ease of use in the platform. I paid and bought my plane ticket online. Then they told me to go to Air Algérie agency. The online purchase of the ticket is flawless. The airlines company offers a series of discounts with very attractive prices to several destinations, including Turkey and France. We have launched promotions that will allow travelers to buy a very interesting tickets. As an example, Algiers-Paris round trip is less than 23,000 dinars. Also, Algiers-Marseille is 20,000 dinars, and Algiers-Istanbul is starting from 35,000 dinars. As a reminder, the discounts are available until October 6th, and the tickets will remain valid until March 25th.
And we wrap up our edition with sports. The International Marathon of Imdrasen came back for its 12th edition on Saturday in Batna province. Our sports reporter Najah Tayyar, who took part in this major sporting event, has more details.
Hundreds of runners from all over Algeria, from several Arab and African countries as well, all came to participate in this 12th edition of Imdrasen Marathon, a sporting event that brought together the lovers of this discipline. I won the first prize thanks to my efforts and those of my team Wras Batna. This edition witnessed the introduction of new discipline, the relay race, with the aim of attracting more participants. The event takes place over a distance of 42 kilometers and 195 meters, spread over two parts. The first finish line is 13 kilometers away in the municipality of Elfestis, while the second finish line is at the Museum of Imdrasen. This marathon is held in the city of Batna since 2010. It has a great role in promoting the region culture, sports and tourism. There is a heavy participation. Thousands of runners took part in this sporting event, which has a great cultural significance. At the end of the race, the winners were awarded their medals. On this occasion, Algerian athletes were also honored.
And with that, our news edition comes to a close. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.